What completely legal things, when done in public, make you look like a psychopath? Not swinging your arms when you walk. I used to freak my coworker out by just swinging my arms together. It's the little things. Oddly enough, I do this involuntarily from time to time. I always felt like it made me walk slightly faster. Cool bonus in addition to looking awesome. Digging at night. Oh, what that is? That's just my Halloween decoration. Sir, it is November. We've had one, yes. What about second Halloween? Elevances? Asking a person for directions like which way is the forest, and then going the completely opposite direction. Running the completely opposite direction. I have to do this. I actually had to do this once. I'd booked my girlfriend's, now wife's, birthday in London, and had told her we were staying at a fairly average hotel. I'd actually booked a really fancy one that was just around the corner from it. I knew where the nice one was in relation to the crappy one, but couldn't get my bearings coming out of the tube station, so, because my girlfriend was there, I asked a guy who was working on some roadworks for directions to the crap one. He pointed left, and so I immediately started walking right. He looked really concerned and chased after us saying, "Hey mate," I said, "left, you're going the wrong way." I tried to brush him off and just say, "Oh yeah, but we are just gonna go this way," but he found it really weird because I'd just asked him how to get to the hotel. My girlfriend WSS starting to get a little uncomfortable and suggested we just walk the way he'd said. But it would have been awkward to get all the way to the wrong hotel only for me to have to explain we now had to just turn around. And the suitcases were quite heavy too. So in the end I leaned into the guy, in what I now realize was quite a sinister way, and just said in a low voice, "Can you please pretend to realize you gave us the wrong directions and point us the other way?" I accompanied this with what I assumed was a conspiratorial wink that said, "We've all done the old hotel switcheroo on the missus before. You know what's going on." But apparently it came off more as I've told this young woman we are staying in a hotel, but actually I'm going to chop her up and eat her liver. He looked a bit creeped out and asked me what the F was going on. So I had to explain the entire surprise to him and my girlfriend in the middle of the street so that he didn't call the police. What a hilarious story. Brushing your teeth. Just straight up brushing your teeth in the street. I was in a Costco, and this random old man came up and talked to me. Proceeded to tell me he was a retired dentist, and pulled a toothbrush out of his pocket. Always got it on me. He also didn't seem fully there, since he asked if I, 14-year-old girl with braces, was married to the person I was shopping with. The person was my cousin, who's like 20 years older, and we were surrounded by his children, which I was obviously too young to have produced. He was one of the 9 dentists who recommend that toothbrush. Plot twist, he's the one who didn't recommended that toothbrush. Staring at somebody with direct eye contact and not saying anything. Spend a day in any Egyptian city and watch pretty much every person stare endlessly like it's nothing. Or go to a small town in Poland. People notice you're not from here and stare at you like you wanted to burn down their house. Going through a town in Poland feels like being a protagonist of a western riding in the town while all the folks stop what they were doing and stare at you. You'd stare too if some random rode into your town on a horse in 2020. Stop mid-walk and turn around. For some reason it doesn't feel right when I'm doing it. I go for runs, and being in Florida, it's pretty common. But I ran a mile away from my house. I run back, so I get 2 miles in. But the 1 mile mark is just a sidewalk. There's no left or right for at least another half mile. So I literally just stop, turn around, and start running back from which I came. But whenever there's someone running behind me or someone running in my direction, I just stand there and pretend I'm tired and wait for them to leave. It feels weird to just turn around for no apparent reason when people are around. I feel like it comes from the subconscious tendency to not want people to see when you've made a mistake. And when you turn around mid-walk, our brains decide everyone around is thinking, "Oh, look at that dumbass. They went the wrong way." Yeah. That's why I always stare at the screen of my phone for a few moments and visibly curse before turning around and leaving. I hope people will think, "Oh, I guess something important happened and he has to return. Definitely doesn't look like a dumbass who went the wrong way. Talking alone / to yourself. I do it sometimes when alone, but it makes you look like a crazy person if you do it in public. Barry, do we look crazy? Yes we do. Other Barry, apostrophe. Berry, is that how you get ants? Yes it is. Other Barry, yes it is. Berry, am I talking to myself? Yes you are. Other Barry, yes you are. Apostrophe. Berry, what's our favorite band? Don't be silly. Other Barry, you know it's between the berry and me. Walking backwards. What about moonwalking everywhere? What about Dark Souls rolling to move out of the way of oncoming people instead of just sidestepping? Wear your pants and shirt backwards. Make you jump. The Mac Daddy'll make you. I never thought a couple people quoting crisscross would help restore some of my faith in humanity. But here we are. In like 92 or something I went to a Michael Jackson concert. And my friend's dad had gotten us press tickets. Criss/cross opened. And happened to walk by right next to me to get a soda. For years I regretted not touching them for the bragging rights. And years later I realized my life was all downhill from that night. Lockpicking the door to your own house because you've lost your key. Did that a few years ago at my old apartment. A few times actually. Then the hair salon downstairs was broken into one night. Back door had the lock picked. I then quickly became the prime suspect. Luckily I was in the next state that night due to a morning funeral. Got there a day early because I wasn't going to be a Palborough right after a 4-hour drive. Believe it or not, caskets are fucking heavy. That depends on the deceased's eating habits and the financial habits of their next of kin. Empty caskets are still heavy, especially in the US, where they are metal lined. We are really concerned about zombies here in America. Taking your belt off, putting it in your pocket/bag and continuing. I have social anxiety and honestly, I might start trying some of these for exposure. Well, you're gonna be exposed if your pants fall off. So, it would work. Kinda. As I learned in middle school, just breaking up laughing at something funny you thought about. My mom once thought I was having a mental breakdown because I just started laughing super hard at a joke I thought of in my head, and I was laughing so hard I couldn't explain why I was laughing. And then her concern just made me laugh even harder and I just laughed for about 10 minutes before calming down. That's a huge laugh. A huge laugh. Walking around drinking a glass of water from home. This is awesome. It's so subtle but really weird. If you get used to doing it, it can turn so much weirder really easily as well. My Saturn's cup holder was a little too loose for a Coke can. Way too loose for a bottle. And too tight for the big cups you normally use in a car. But it perfectly fit a 12 ounces double-walled tumbler, or whatever you call those really thick plastic cups. Like unless it was filled to the brim it would never spill, because it literally couldn't joggle. So on more than one occasion I would show up to someone's house with a glass of juice or soda in my hand without even thinking about it looking like I just came from their kitchen. It always led to some of the weirdest looks you've ever seen. Friend shows up at your door with a can of Coke in his hand. Perfectly normal. Friend shows up at your door with a glass of milk. Really fucking strange. Double standards I tell ya. Ironing in the front yard in your bathrobe. My mom legit started vacuuming the lawn one day when I was in high school. This sounds like the beginning of a bad flashback. It all started when I was a little boy. I was walking home from school with a couple of friends. They thought I was cool. But then my mother steps out of the house. And you know what she does, Perry the platypus? She vacuums along. What kind of madman would do such a thing? In a hoe. My friends all laughed at me and never talked to me again. That is why I created this. Behold, the Soul Vacuuminator. Now, I know what you might be thinking, Perry the platypus. Who doofenshmirtz. What does this inator do? Well, I'm glad you asked, Perry the platypus. With this inator, I'll be able to suck all the souls of the tree state area, leaving everyone, besides me, zombie-like, leaving me the only one capable of ruling the tree state area. There. Empty a chocolate sauce bottle and use it as a water bottle in the gym. Maple syrup and ranch are also valid choices. Oh, good. My mind briefly experienced that combo, and I felt a small part of me gag on it internally. Keep a grin on your face while maintaining eye contact. Freaks people the hell out. And whisper soon. Apostrophe. Add on they'll never know what hit em. Preface everything you say with in accordance with the prophecy. In accordance with the prophecy. Soon. They'll never know what hit em. Sounds less creepy and more like a video game NPC. Trench coat plus sunglasses. Perf. There is difference. I was going for the shooter vibe, but I'll take perv. It's true. Kinda messed up they claimed a whole look. Right? Trench coats need a comeback. When entering an elevator, don't turn back around to face the exit. Yay. This makes everyone else in the elevator really uncomfortable. Farting also does the trick. Farting also does the trick. While staring really intense at someone in the elevator. Asserting dominance. Or rather, asserting dominance. Jogging in place. Anything short of waiting for a light to change, and it's just odd. In line at the DMV. Jog in place. Waiting to use the bathroom at Starbucks. Jog in place. Standing awkwardly in the middle of a full park when you don't have kids. Jog in place. Visiting the Holocaust Museum. Jog in place. Waiting for the hot dog vendor to add relish. Job in place. Waiting for the waitress to come back with a check. Job in place. Standing in an elevator. Job in place. Edit. I'm not changing the obvious typo. Because now it means that you're staring down the hot dog guy and you plan to confiscate his cart to fuel your own hot dog business. I stand by what I said. Yes, but while you're staring the vendor down, do you jog in place? 100%. He might even start jogging in place. It could become the new CrossFit in a flash. It's fine to carry around human bones, / I mean legal specimens, in creepy looking boxes. Everyone in my anatomy class was given a box and we took public transit with it while smelling like death. You could literally see creepy people on the bus move slowly away from us. That sounds like a good defense mechanism. Women who have to walk alone at night should just carry boxes of legal specimens. No one wants to rape the bone lady. You absolutely don't want to pick a bone with her. Sitting on the steps of an escalator. Using an escalator as a stimaster. You just gave me an idea, since my gyms are closed. Great. Now we'd have to avoid escalators. Cuss the Rona. Walk into any store and just lay down. If anyone asks if you need help, tell them you're fine. Then, after a minute or so, stand up and go about your business. I once did this at a 7-Eleven like store, but it was because my blood pressure was going low. I started feeling dizzy and, since my parents and a lot of my family are doctors, I knew I had to lay down and raise my legs to prevent myself from passing out. I did that. I was embarrassed to admit to anyone what was happening and I didn't want to cause a scene or draw too much attention. So once I felt better I left the store and called my parents so they could pick me up. But in the eyes of the clerks and other people there, a random guy just entered the store, dropped to the floor, raised his legs, and after a few minimums, got up and left without buying anything. Thanks for sharing, made me lol. Bonus points if you kick your shoes off and drape your feet into the dairy section. If anyone looks at you funny, just tell them, my dogs were overheating. Then fondle the yogurt cups and string cheese with your bare toes. That's oddly specific. I'm not sure if other people see me this way, but I always feel like a creep when looking straight ahead alone. I feel like the person in front of me is gonna turn around, see me, and think I'm a creep. What's worse is I forcefully look around, but I also feel like that's weird, and that people will think I'm trying to make it look like I'm not looking at them, when I really am. It's a weird dynamic. I stare at the person as I approach, and when I'm close I smile and nod while giving the peace sign as I pass. What I hate is when I'm behind someone and they're a slow walker, so I have to walk unusually fast to pass them, but I don't want to slow down afterwards because now they've already seen my pace and I don't want to seem like I'm tired or out of shape. I'm tired and out of shape. Booking with a flamma thrower. Yes, it's legal. Americana fuck yeah. Like and subscribe.